Welcome to CABTalk.
Some things in life are bad. They can really make you mad.
The Citizens Advice Bureau is where you talk and we listen.
Other things just make you swear and curse.
But here on CABTalk, we talk and you listen.
The Citizens Advice Bureau.
For your free, helpful advice.
When you're chewing on life's gristle, don't grumble, give a whistle. And this'll help things turn out for the best.
CABTalk.
And always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the light side of life. If life seems jolly rotten, there's something you've forgotten, and that's to laugh and smile and dance and sing. When you're feeling in the dumps, don't be silly chumps. Just
Good morning and welcome once again to another session of CABTalk. Now, this morning, Wesley, I think we're going to have maybe a bit of a sing and dance, maybe a little bit of...
I don't think there's room on the table for us today, Moira, but good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning. We have two guests this morning. We have Doreen and we have Randall.
Good morning. Good morning.
Now, this is a surprise, but they are entertainers. And we are going to find out and hopefully encourage you to learn about the Masterton Variety Club and join. So let's hear all about
the club sort of goes under the name of the Savage Club, doesn't it?
Yes.
And Randall, I'm going to pick you because you seem to have the history, the knowledge. So can you give us a little bit of a rundown on how the Savage Club came about?
Yes, I can do that. The Savage Club originated in 1857 in London, and the members that formed it couldn't join the Bohemian Club. They wouldn't let them in. So a lot of them got together and decided they'd form their own club.
So this is a men's club?
A men's club only, yep. And they couldn't decide on a name for a long time. And then one bright spark said, well, what about Savage? And they said, why? They said, well, Jim Savage was a poet in 1740 odd, and he was a bit of a no-hoper, bit of a drunkard and one thing and another, and somebody said, oh yeah, that's a good idea, we'll name it Savage Club, and it's been Savage Club ever since.
Yeah.
There were clubs in America, England, Australia and New Zealand.
So it spread quite quickly then once it got going.
Yes, it did. And there's still a club in Australia and in London, but as far as America is concerned, I don't know about that. And there's 22 clubs in New Zealand now. 50 odd years ago, we had 66 clubs in New Zealand, but they slowly go by the board and close down. But apart from that, and the local, excuse me. Too much to talk. The local Masterton Club was formed in 1910, so in reality we're 110 years old, which is quite good to last that long, really.
It is in a way because so much change has happened in the world of entertainment, hasn't it, in the last sort of 100 odd years.
Yes.
I mean, I was showing my grandson, who's 7-year-old, an old television the other day, and he said, well, where's the remote controls? And I says, well, you've got to walk and go round to the side and turn the knobs. And he says, really?
Yes.
You know, and you think, well, that's not that long ago.
No.
But yeah, there's just time goes.
Yep.
So,
So Randall, yeah, I'm just going to butt in because I just thought, so when you do your productions, you have tuition or used to tutor people on how to project their voices, because you wouldn't have had the mics that we've got today.
Oh no, we never had any mics at all.
No.
was just on the stage and do the best you can.
Yeah.
And it was a men's club only until about 1998 when they decided to accept ladies into the clubs. And if it hadn't have been for that, the clubs would not be around today. It's the ladies that have kept the clubs going right throughout New Zealand, except for Hastings Orphans Club, and they are still men only.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the ladies that have saved the clubs. And at the last conference back in the middle of the year, the Kindred Clubs Association, which is what all the clubs combined together are called, they decided that, yes, we could let clubs change their names if they wanted to, because of the fact that Savage wasn't very popular. Yeah, and that's why the Masterton Club has now gone to Variety Club.
Variety Club.
So what was the meaning of Savage?
Well, that was just the name that they gave it,
Yeah,
from this.
it had no particular meaning. It just
just a name of that old poet way back in the 1700s.
Yes.
Yeah, they grabbed his name and used it, and this was in 1857.
Wow.
When it was the men's only club at the very beginning,
Yes.
when they put on a show, was ladies allowed in to watch the show, or was it only men only then?
Only men that watched it, and because in those days the clubs were so big that they might have 15 people on the stage and they still have 40 people in the audience. But then once a year, at the end of the year, which is about this time of the year, they had a ladies' night, and then the wives were allowed to come along.
And they had to bring a plate, I expect, to
sometimes yes, and sometimes it wasn't. But and that's the more or less part of the history, I suppose. But when I first joined, I didn't know a damn thing about anything. But I finished up being one of the female impersonators. And I'd done that for many, many years until the ladies come along, so then I was free.
And then you had to be a horse or a cow.
Yeah. We needed some of them too at times.
Yes.
But I'm a baker and pastry cook by trade, and I had a business here in Masterton, and the milkman used to bring the milk, and he said to me, "What about joining the Savage Club?" I said, "What's that?" And so he explained it. Oh yeah. And then he comes back again a month later and says, "There's a choreo on tonight, which is a concert," and he said, "You better come along and on the." When I said to the milkman fella, he was in a Maori action group, and we had 12 Maoris in the club in those days. I said, "Gee, I'd like to join the haka group." "Oh, you should come along on Tuesday to practice." So I did, and that's how I got into taking part in the programs and that. And then I went from Maori action group to female impersonator.
I mean, you're talking about in 1910, there's been a lot of history throughout the world since then.
Yeah.
Do you think that, like after the war and such like, that men again needed that sort of companionship, that sort of togetherness as well? Did that? It boosted itself quite a bit after the war. I'm sure of that, and in 1960 they bought their own hall round there in Albert Street, and it was a real wreck of a show, and they'd been using it for a car wrecking department sort of, and there was greasy floors and junk everywhere. But anyway, they ripped it all out and rebuilt the inside of it and made a stage and one thing and another, and it's quite good now. I mean, you must be quite fortunate to have your own building.
Yes, that is true, because we don't have to shift anything. Like, other clubs that hire a hall, they've got to, if they want to put pictures up on the wall, they've got to take them down and that sort of thing, and shift all their gear all the time. But we are very fortunate in that way.
Well, you must have a lot of props that you store there.
Yeah.
And have you got someone who looks after all the costumes and?
Well, we have a prop room.
Yes.
And whatever we decide to do, we will start at the prop room first. And if there's not there what we need, well, then we go about either getting it ourselves, making it, borrowing it, or anything like that. Yes.
And do you do sort of alterations to some of the stuff you've got in your wardrobe to change it for the next production?
Well, yes. I mean,
Yes,
so
too,
much.
sometimes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's what happens with a lot of different groups. My daughter's involved with her ballet, and when they have a production, the mothers and the helpers all get out the costumes and change them for the theme, and they're busy with their sewing machines and change things around. And
I'll share with you later the one production that we did, and it was amazing what they turned their hands to making things.
So I just thought, just to recap, this is CAB.
Citizens Advice Bureau.
Citizens Advice Bureau. And today we've got two guests from the Savage Club who are talking about their productions and how they are looking for new volunteers and what it's all about. So I just thought we'd do a little recap, because we have been on the radio, but we have been off air visually. Now it looks like we might be back on.
The show never always, isn't it? Right. Okay, shall we have a bit of music then, and we can recap ourselves?
Sweet 16 goes to church just to see the boys. Laughs and screams and giggles at every little noise. Turns her face a little, then turns her head a while. But everybody knows she's only putting on the style. She's putting on the agony, putting on the style. That's what all the young folks are doing all the while. Look around me, I sometimes have to smile, seeing all the young folks putting on a style. With a young man in a hot rod car, driving like he's mad, with a pair of yellow gloves he's borrowed from his dad. He makes it roar so lively just to see his girlfriend smile, but she knows he's only putting on the style. Yeah, putting on the agony, putting on the style. That's what all the young folks are doing all the while. And as I look around me, I sometimes have to smile, seeing all the young folks putting on the style. The preacher in the pulpit roars with all his might, sing glory, hallelujah, puts the folks all in a fright. Now you might think it's Satan that's a-coming down the aisle, but it's only our poor preacher, boys, that's putting on his style. Yeah, it's putting on the agony, putting on the style. That's what all the young folks are doing all the while. And as I look around me, I'm sometimes have to smile, seeing all the young folks putting on the style. La 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 la, socks putting on the agony, putting on the style. That's what all the young folks are doing all the while. And as I look around me, I sometimes have to smile, seeing all the young folks putting on the style. Yeah, putting on the agony, putting on the style.
was old Lonnie.
Donegan.
Yeah, Donegan. Putting on the style. Right, now, Doreen, let's hear your voice. Morning. So you just joined in 1991?
I think it was 27, I think.
Yeah, about
40 years ago.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yes. So what made
Lucky to have hung around that long.
So what made you join?
Pardon?
What made you join?
I knew a couple, and he played the piano accordion.
Ah.
And he said, and I do too. And he said, oh, hey, you wouldn't come along to the Savage Club, would you? And I said, sure, no problem. Any rate, I went along, and the first one I ran into was Randall Mellish. And he pushed me on the stage, and he says, go on, out you go. And I thought, what a bully he is, I'll sort him out. But at any rate, that's how it came about. That's how it came about. And I never left. I joined and proceeded from there. Val was the pianist, Randall's wife, Val Mellish. She was the pianist then. Then over a period of time, she decided that it was time to have a rest. And so I took over from Val. And just proceeded much the same as what it used to be. Come up with a theme.
Yes, that was quite interesting. Doreen was talking about her dream vision she has for the shows.
Yes.
And yes, you've got a vision, and then your feet start
That's
tapping,
right.
and
Yes.
then you discuss it next time you meet.
Yes. It was. I would usually think it up at about one of my committee meetings at 2:00 in the morning. You know, all of a sudden you'd have this vision. Oh my gosh, we could do that.
Yes.
And you present it to the other members, and I think at the threat of life and limb, they always agreed. And so from that we would talk about it and proceed. But then the music had to be sorted out.
Yeah.
That all has to be chosen,
Yes.
done. It has to be typed up. We have to learn all that. You know, and they do work very hard, and so do I. And so the instructions generally came from me. And some Fridays I would go home and I think, I'm not going back there, I can't stand it any longer. But I always went back. My heart was really in the club. And like any big group of people, there will get those that you would like to swing for them, which I threatened to do many times. And there'd be those that were more willing than others, and like you would get in a group of people.
Yes.
But generally, we achieved what we set out to do. And we always made fun. We had the serious side, the songs, the choirs, the separate items. Then we would do sketches, and some of those were very, very funny. Maybe a bit risque at times, but very funny. And poetry, single items. We had some people there that had lovely voices. But we had to set that all out. And then we had to sit down with the program organiser and put it all together. You know, like somebody said, well, we can't do that there, we won't have enough time to change. So we have to change that to there. And it was a job within the club that nobody ever wanted to do. Because you'd get to the end of it and take it there, and they said, no, I can't do that. Oh, right, we've got to shift that and shift that. It takes a long time.
Especially as you were creating your own production.
Yes.
It wasn't like a play that is given to you where you know the props and you know the time frame in between.
Yes, but we did do things like sketches. For instance, we did one a couple of years ago, Hello, Hello.
Yes.
And it was hysterical. It was really hysterical. And I was sharing at the coffee time where one lady, she was the woman from the Resistance.
Yes.
And she came round to speak to Renee. And she says, Renee, where have you hidden the painting of the Madonna with the big boobies? But she didn't say big boobies, she said the big bananas. Well, where did she get that from? Thank God it happened at rehearsal. And she said, I don't know why I said that. Well, you know what it is, don't you? And then she came back and she did exactly the same thing the second time. Now, it took 10 minutes for everybody to get sane again before we could start again, and she eventually got it right. But, oh no, we do sketches. And we do walk-on, walk-offs.
Yes.
And so you've got to just put all that together.
So
and it's usually for about an hour and a half, Randall, isn't it? About 20 items.
So
Yes.
that's quite some time, really, isn't it? I mean, especially from your dream until you push it across to the rest of them, and then you've got to write up all your sketches and things like that.
That's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, that is quite a process, really,
That's
isn't it?
That is it. And generally it's in here. Yeah. And what I do, my role, is to transfer that.
The vision across,
Yes.
Yes.
This is how we're going to do it. And you'll always get those that say, I don't want to do that. Well, what would you like to do? That sort of thing, you know. And dear Randall here, he's my sweetheart. I tell him all the time that I love him. I do.
So, Randall, when Doreen comes in and said, I've had a dream, you go, oh, no.
When my foot's going at the end of the bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm on a roll.
I think that'd be quite a good sketch already, isn't it?
I'm on a roll, right? Hey. But
Can you visualise that?
Yes.
yes. But and there are those that it doesn't matter if you can't sing. We don't go down there to be either professional or perfect. You come down and you do the best you can. That's all we ask of you. And but there are some that get a bit off key sometimes. He does.
I'm off key all the time. That's
Yes, he
that's why
does.
I've given up singing.
Yes. And but we give him little spots. I just wrote something down there before we did the song. The men did, I can't give you anything but love, baby.
Yes.
So we gave him the thing, and they go, I can't give you anything but love,
Baby.
baby.
That's all I had to say.
So lots of laughs.
Yeah. So did you dress up as a baby with a...
Oh, no.
No, he wouldn't do that. But normally with the choirs, we just have the ladies just wear a little black top with a little string of pearls. That's all. And the men have their club tie and white shirt. But any other songs, no, we dress up. We try and dress up as much as we can. We have the Twilighters, the cowboys. They dress up as cowboys and we sing a cowboy song.
Yeah.
And we have the ukuleles. We sit down and we plunk away on these ukuleles and go flat out. And we have Miles Ray. Hello, Miles. He comes in with his double bass and adds a bit of, depth to the music. And we love that. And so it's full on.
Yeah.
It's full on. Yeah.
And this is your club night?
No, we practice every Friday.
Every Friday? Yes.
We used to do Tuesdays and Fridays, but we cut it back to just Friday. And we might take 3 months to learn it all. It's not just a free-for-all. It's very structured. And we decorate the stage. We're doing a old time, what is it?
Yeah, music time.
Music hall. And we've got that on the stage and lots of tinsels and all that stuff. Tables.
So when's this planned for?
We haven't, well, we hope the first or second week in November that we can get that show on the way, yes. But as you say, when you get a large group of people and they are of all ages, somebody's either not well or, of course, the virus came into play and we had to shut things down. And so you've got to double up time now to try and get it all together.
So you're giving away any free tickets to encourage people to join up?
Well, we charge $10.
Yes.
And for that, we have an hour and a half to 2 hour concert, and we put on a lovely afternoon tea.
Oh, so this is in the afternoon, it's not evening?
Yes, it's usually in the afternoon, yes.
Afternoon, so...
And, but we do go out into the community with, documents like you have there, or flyers of some sort, and we try and present ourselves and move away from that image that we're just a bunch of old oldies down there and they just sing songs down there. Hey, that's not true.
No.
That's not true. And as a result of our, people say, oh my gosh,
yes.
what a great show. We had a lovely time. And and at that time we think, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God, we got through it all.
And how long is the production? How long does the show last? An hour or 2 hours?
About nearly 2 hours.
Yeah.
Nearly 2 hours.
Yeah.
Well, you must have a few breaks in it, little.
Yeah.
No, half time.
Half time.
Yes, interval we have.
Have an interval for 10 minutes and back into it.
Yeah, we have to change any props or anything like that.
Yeah.
We work out the program that it's that time that we change props and things like that.
So do you drag family members in to help you with that heavier work?
Usually us members do it.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, us members. We make all the food, and
Yes.
it is really, very well done. Very well
I say it's
done.
quite busy because you were saying you have about 16
Yeah, there's not many members
now.
Yeah,
I mean, the time it's almost like it's like a marathon race in some ways.
Yes.
From the start.
It's hard going now.
Because they have to double up on doing the items.
Yes.
We'll have to use you to do this, to do this, to do that.
Yes.
And those girl ladies and that they were, and the men, they work very, very hard, very, very hard indeed. And we have a lot of laughs.
Yes.
We really do. We have the clowns there that, instead of listening to Dory and going, nah, 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 they're busy talking to each other, and he's the one to be there. He lets rip and everybody be quiet. He's quiet then.
So we've got a phone number, yours or Eric McEwen.
Yes.
So people can ring you if they're interested in joining.
That's
because
right.
Masterton's becoming, or the Wairarapa, people are moving to the Wairarapa to live and retiring. And you may find that there's people interested in joining if they knew about it.
Wonderful.
The other thing is you said often people come and are quite enthusiastic and then they don't last, they don't stay with you. Well, I'm just thinking that there must be a way that you can give people an introduction and give them some job so that they feel that they are part of you, but they're still learning the ropes.
Well, when somebody new comes in, you're part of the ropes right from the word go.
Yes, yeah.
We don't leave them sitting out there on their own.
No.
We say, come on now, hop up on the stage. Here's what we're singing.
Yeah.
Here's it is there. And the girls gather them up, or the men gather them up. Come on, we go. And so they are involved right from the word go.
Yes.
Now, another thing too, they are welcome to come as an associate member and join our club without having to perform.
Yeah, well,
They
that
can
might
just-
be a good sort of start, mightn't it?
And they might just want to do that and see how they feel about
Yes.
becoming an active member of the club. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think coming to your show and seeing the show is also a good opportunity for
Yes.
them to say, oh, I wouldn't mind
That's
being at the other side of the
That's
stage,
one
isn't
that-
it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And see that we do a lot of laughter and a lot of fun and serious. we're serious. There's some people in our club that have got lovely voices, and we move into a more serious side of the club where they sing these lovely songs and accompany them, you know, with all these lovely songs. So it's sort of a go. I think this concert, I think we're doing about 20-something songs.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's a lot
mean,
to
it's-
learn.
I mean, you're talking about 60 plus, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In these days, yes.
Yes. And I mean, it's songs and dancing and things like that. I mean, it's great for our memories. We've got to look after our memories when we get to
Yes,
60
that's
plus.
right.
And I mean, it has been proven that singing and dancing and things like that is actually really great benefit to us all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and keeping active. I mean, it
That's
sounds as though
right.
you get your
yes.
activity, active
Yeah.
activity there as well. So,
exactly.
yeah.
Yes.
So it's. I mean, Wesley was saying we've got huge amount of retirement villages in the Marston area alone.
Yes. Yes. But I
Yeah.
know we choose a theme, and then we set about putting it all together.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do and what costumes we're going to do. And I said to Randall about our Arab one that we did quite a while ago. That was fabulous. The music was fabulous.
Yes. And
Did you hear that? The music was fabulous. and the costumes, we spent hours,
yes.
you know, making props and costumes. And
You must have quite a collection of costumes.
well,
Oh, dear, right.
yes, yes, we do. We have a lot of the forces costumes, Army, Navy, and of course the Air Force. And so after the thing, it all goes into a box and downstairs it goes.
Yeah. With plenty of mothballs.
We could do with a few mothballs in there. I tell you, there's some stuff that have been in there for a long, long time.
Yes.
Long time.
Well, there's stuff in there that was there when I joined 52 years ago.
Wow.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Wow, it's probably very valuable.
Yeah,
Yes,
some of it
yes.
probably
Yes.
is.
Yes.
Yes. You could even just have a parade.
But
And
we
you-
do silly things, you know.
Yes.
I just very quickly, I thought one night in bed, and I thought, what can we do? There's something, I know. We can do McNamara's band. And we'll dress them up in all the Irish gear. They had all their little trousers on and braces. And we had an old violin. We had some cymbals in the prop cupboard. We had some drums. We had a recorder, all that sort of thing. And so the idea was Maureen sang the verse, oh, my name is McNamara and I'm the leader of the band, you see. But then when it got to the chorus, la 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 la, well, they played all this terrible music. It was just dreadful, just a big noise. And one of the ladies, she had a bugle. And at the end, she had to blow this bugle. Well, of course, she couldn't get much noise out of this bugle. And her face would go bright red, and she'd blow into this bugle, and she'd get a little squeak out of it, you see. But anyway, we took it away on a raid to one of the other clubs. And if you could have seen these people, Megan soaring away on the violin and little Jimmy's hitting the drum, and we had some beautiful cymbals, and he would clang these cymbals so hard that they reckon that their back teeth were falling out. Don't do it that hard. But anyway, we went away and we took this thing with us, and we put on it, and then we thought, well, we'll do McNamara's band. Well, the noise, blowing this bugle at her. Later on, this lovely, lovely man came over to me and he said, Doreen, he said, the show was great. He said, but that Irish one, he said, was that for real? I said, no, it was only fun. Oh, thank goodness for that, he said. Yeah. So it's a lot of fun.
That sounds like fun. Right, let's have a bit more music and then we'll get back to a fun.
Catch a falling star and put it in your pocket, never let it fade away. Catch a falling star and put it in your pocket, save it for a rainy day. For love may come and tap you on the shoulder some starless night. Just in case you feel you wanna hold her, you'll have a pocket full of starlight. Catch a falling star and put it in your pocket, never let it fade away. Never let it fade away. Catch a falling star and put it in your pocket, save it for a rainy day. Save it for a rainy day. For love may come and tap you on the shoulder some starless night. And just in case you feel you wanna hold her, you'll have a pocket full of starlight. Pocket full of starlight. Catch a falling star and put it in your pocket, never let it fade away. Never let it fade away. Catch a falling star and put it in your pocket, save it for a rainy day. Save it for a rainy, rainy, rainy day. For when your troubles start multiplying, and they just might, it's easy to forget them without trying. With just a pocket full of starlight, catch a falling star and put it in your pocket, never let it fade away. Never let it fade away. Catch a falling star and put it in your pocket, save it for a rainy day. Save it for a rainy day. Save it for a rainy day.
Right, you were listening to CABTalk on Access FM, and if you do wish to find out anything about anything that's happening in the Wairarapa, from the Savage Club or the Variety Club, to what's on next week, give us a call on 06 377 0078, or you could even ring the 0800 for CAB, 0800 367 222, and you might surprise them with requesting about the Variety Club, but it's all good. Or pop in to see us at 43 in Penny Street in Marston, which Doreen did. That's how we met Doreen, when she came in to see us. Yeah. And even email us at wairarapa@cab.org.nz, and we're open Monday to Friday 9 to 4. Right. So when as I say, when we're off air, we sort of chat a bit, and Wesley was talking about, we have got a huge amount of people in the retirement villages and such like, and I probably got a little bit of a history of retirement village myself, of working in one, and it is important when people do move into the village, they like to be part of the village. But I used to say it's as important for them to be involved in a community, to still keep their contacts in the community, their interests in the community. And I think it's like everything, isn't it? It's going and doing something different, so when you come home, you've got something different to talk about. Yes. You're engaging in something completely different. Yes. Yeah. And it is important that, yes, to be part of the village, but take the step outside the village and get involved with what's in a community. Yeah. Yes. And and you'd be surprised, as you said, how much talent there is out there. Or not so much talent, but someone's always got something to give.
Absolutely.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Sometimes I thought, I can't sing that. Now, you just trust me. You come and stand next to me now, and let's have a little try.
Yeah. And I think as you get older, you sort of lose a little bit of your inhibitions, don't you? You sort of like, what the heck,
Who cares? We're all mostly in the same.
And I think it is the laughter that's best at the end, isn't it? If you can laugh about it, you'll move on, don't you? You move forward.
Well, we always find a way. We had one man would you like to sing that song? I can't sing. Oh, would you like to try? No, thank you. All right, then that's fine. So what we did, we recorded me playing the song, and I gave him the tape, and I said, would you like to take that home and just play the tape? Next thing, a couple of weeks later, he came back, got up in front of the stage in front of the microphone, and it was absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
He had convinced himself that he can't sing.
Mm-hmm.
But he could. He could. He mumbled and groaned all the time, but we didn't take any notice of it.
Well, what's that singer, the old guy, that's it, somebody Cowan, that sort of croaks the voice? He doesn't really sing, he sort of talks. Have you heard of him?
Talks.
And it sounds pretty ghastly, but people listen to it.
Well, some of us can just be ourselves and it sound ghastly.
The worse as bad as it is, people get a kick out of it.
Yes.
So
we had little Roy Merriman used to do the farm one. He was clever.
Yes.
He was clever. Old MacDonald had a farm, and on the farm he had a pig. And he'd do all the noises to fit the animals.
Yes.
And we were entertaining, I think it was the Vintage Car Club. Well, one lady, I thought she's going to fall off her chair. She was so beside herself with these noises that Roy was making that everybody was in hysterics. But when he does it, he has to concentrate on what he's doing, you know. Things like that.
Yes.
I think I've got a memory of my dad. His was the Laughing Policeman.
Yes.
And he would start singing.
Oh, yes, they've done that one, the Laughing
And it was amazing how we just couldn't help it, but we had to laugh. And, you know, we would all be laughing. We'd have a whole room of people just laughing.
Yes.
You know, and I mean, nowadays they actually have laughing clubs for people to go and just laugh. You know, and
my gosh.
yes.
But we love dressing the men up.
Oh,
Yes.
oh dear.
We like that. We
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
And they're very compliant. We can do anything to these poor fellows. And, you know, he... what are some of the ones we did? I went to your wedding, although I was dreading. And we dressed Eric up and lipstick and the whole works, veil, and then we blacked out his front tooth. So he had to keep his, not to do that. And then there was you were the father and Judith was the mother. And we made an archway to come through with all the flowers and everything. And he had this big bouquet of flowers for a reason. And it's one of the men had a lovely voice. She sang, I went to your wedding, although I was ready, you came down the aisle. And they started walking down the aisle. My mother was crying. My father was crying. No. And I was crying too. No. And then we were, thank goodness we were losing you, he says to the girl. And they had a pin, and he lowered the bouquet, and we'd stuck a balloon up his dress. And they stuck a pin into him and he exploded.
Yes, that's right.
When he said, when he smiled, oh, he was ugly. Oh, he was terribly ugly. Oh, dear.
There was a blushy bride.
Well, it certainly sounds as if you've had lots of fun, and you can still have a laugh, and there's lots of more fun to be had. Yes.
Thank you.
So just get along and join the service.
Keep going.
Well,
That's
I
what we have to do.
With the virus this year, I think it's probably people have had a time to reflect, haven't they? I mean, you know,
Yes.
at the first we were all locked down, you know, age took a bit of a hit, and you know, people's well-being as well, that they were vulnerable, they had to stay at home. And I think they probably realised just that contact with people, how important it is. And I think it's an opportunity to try and, you know, for us to bring back a lot of that community based activities. And why not? I mean, what have you got to lose by just popping down or giving Doreen or Eric a ring and
just come and sit and watch.
Yeah, and go and watch the show.
Yes.
You know, laughter is one of the best medicines.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Well, Randall knows all about that, sweetie pie, don't you?
Oh yeah, too right.
The coming and the going, and he would swing on the curtains that hard that the curtain would roar off. The rings would roar off the other end.
That's your excuse.
We wouldn't have survived without him, ladies.
So Randall, what's your best sort of moment on stage sort of thing? Or
well, I used to do the long poise, you know, Maori poise, and dress up as a Maori, and do that. And there was three of us that used to do that: a Maori bloke and Cliff Morris and myself. And that was quite interesting. And then we used to do some, and then they'd turn all the lights out, and you'd have the black lights across the front of the stage, and you can only see the poise and your white pew pew, and used to be quite effective. And of course the poise were painted with iridescent paint, you know, because it shines up in the black light, and they do that. That used to be quite good, but we've all got past that now, I think.
Well, I don't know. I think Doreen's foot's beginning to tap under the floor there.
And of course, I've been the stage manager for many years, and I do enjoy that, controlling the lights and the curtains and that sort of thing. And
chasing us up out the back.
Come on. 2 minutes to go, and this sort of thing. You know, I try to work to a time limit and that sort of thing. That says that we start at 2 o'clock, for argument's sake.
Yes.
And there's 10 minutes for half time, and if they're not ready, I've been known to open the curtain when they haven't been ready. Or not all of them, but one or two, you know.
Yes. I won't tell you the hot mumbles that were going on out the back.
Some of them don't. I didn't have time to get changed, but they'd be out the back talking instead of getting changed. Some of them, not all of them, but you know.
So you got changing rooms
out the back.
Out the back, yes.
Ladies down one side, one back.
Well, we walked through the men's part to come out that side of the stage. I mean, you don't bother looking at anything. You're just in such a hurry, you know.
Well, you've been doing it for so long that you don't take any notice.
No.
I was stage manager for the Harmony Ladies, going back many years now, and it was half time, and I went out the back and I said to him, "Come on, it's time to get cracking." And one old lady, Jim McGill's wife, Molly, she hit the roof because I went out into the ladies where they were changing. I didn't give a damn, you know. I mean,
no. Show must go on, was it?
Yes.
But there were times that things happened that were not on the program. Like Ian, he was Sheik of Araby.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We had him on the cushions and we made turbans, and he was covered in sparkles and rings and what have you. And one of the ladies lent him her blue satin pyjamas. And so he had the shoes and everything on. And well, when they got up and we finished and moved to the front of the stage to bow, his pants fell down. And I remember Val, Randall's wife, she said, "Did his pants just fall down?" And I said, in a flash, he went, "That's up." And but the crowd thought that was all part of the show.
Yeah. Yes.
His face, "I'll never live this down." He said, "I'll never live this down." Then he blamed Nell for giving him the blue trouser pants that fell down.
You've just got some wonderful memories.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yes.
Many years ago, we did a show in Wanganui. Well, we'd done one in Wairarapa on the Saturday night, and we'd come back to Wanganui and do another one on a Sunday afternoon. And Roy Merriman, I suppose most of you have heard of him, he was playing a saxophone, and he was going to do a saxophone item. So out he goes, and he's playing his saxophone, and one of the reeds broke. And he goes, "Ah!" But old Roy, he didn't stop. No, he just kept playing. And every time he hit that note, it went, "Ah!" And his wife and my wife were sitting down in the audience, and Molly and it's saying, "Why doesn't he stop? Why doesn't he stop?" Val said, "Let him keep going." But once Roy starts to do something, he finishes it. Yeah.
Even on a sour note.
Yeah. I don't think he's played his saxophone since.
Oh, thank God for that. I couldn't stand it.
It obviously needed a bit of repair work.
Yes, it did, yeah.
I bet he'd be like, what is it? Took my heart to the party, you know,
Yeah,
he asked me
you
to play,
play.
that'd be Roy.
Oh, yeah.
The same guy, beautiful voice, Roy.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Beautiful voice. We did lots of lovely things and songs with Roy. You know, I remember I was just looking at some photos the other day, and there was one of Roy and I with "Baby, It's Cold Outside." You know, and he does the offbeat.
Yes.
Very hard to sing. And Val played the piano for us, and there's like a lot of silent notes. Ba-da-da-dee-dee, bum, bum, ba-dee-dee-dee-dee, bum, bum. And in that bum, bum, he's got to give his banter. Well, Val just about tore her hair out, didn't she? Because Rory would have to wait that da, da before he spoke.
Yeah.
But you'd only get one da, and he'd do it, you see. And Val would say, "Two, Roy, two." Then in the end she said, "I'm sick of the both of you, go home."
Well, I think it might be just about the time for going home.
No, I can stay here forever. Can I? I can stay here forever.
Well, we can have a bit of music and then we can. Yep. Okay.
This is the moment I've waited for. I can hear my heart singing. Soon bells will be ringing. This is the moment of sweet aloha. I will love you longer than forever. Promise me that you will leave me never. Here and now, dear, all my love I vow, dear. Promise me that you will leave me never. I will love you longer than forever. Now that we are one, clouds won't hide the sun. Blue skies of thy smile on this our wedding day. I do love you with all my heart.
We're back on. Right, there we are. That is Andy Williams, another voice that we don't hear very much of nowadays,
No,
do
you
we?
don't.
Yeah. We're sort of like brainstorming here. We do a lot of brainstorming behind the scenes. We were just sort of trying to think of getting people's attention to come along and watch your show and to join you as a members. Yeah. So, you know, if you are out there listening to us or just thinking about it, you may yourself not think, oh, no, I can't do that. But you may know somebody who could, you know, give them a bit of a push. And
Yes,
yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and then both of you come along. Yes. Yeah, because it's not just, as Randall was saying, it's not just on the stage, it's behind the scene as well. I expect, you know,
a lot of good friendships there made.
That's right.
There are. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, you know, even people who are good with needlework, or you'd probably be quite welcome, or people who are good at making things, you know, with tools, the old crafts, and
Always looking for people to help. Yes.
I think we may think, oh yeah, you're on stage as stars, but what goes
on behind the scenes? Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Talking about that, the Men's Shed has had quite a lot of profile in the papers and on the news, and we do get the Men's Shed personnel to come here and talk about the Men's Shed, and you know, they're really good at making things for you.
Yes,
and so
we should raid them. I'd probably terrify.
You could go.
You call your next production the raiding party.
And that's what we, over the years, and it's still called the same thing, when our club visits another club, it's called a raid.
A raid.
And that's an outward raid. And then you have the other club that comes to you, and it's an inward raid.
Yes.
And there's, in the, what they call a central group, there's Horowhenua, Manawatu, Masterton, Taradale, Hastings and Gisborne. We're all in one group. That, you know, and then there's the Western group, which is the Taranaki area, and that, and
we're always the best.
Other and this sort of thing.
Aren't we, Randall? We're always the best.
Yes.
Well, on that note, I think we should end then, shouldn't we? And well, thank you, Doreen and Randall, for coming along. It's been really entertaining. Yes.
Well done. Many thanks.
Yes.
Many thanks for having us.
Well, it's been a pleasure, and you've entertained us, so thank you very much.
That's only the tip of the iceberg.
So anyway, keep your eyes and ears peeled for announcements of the next show, but at the same time, Doreen's and Eric's contacts will be at the CAB if
thank you.
If people wish to find out.
Yes.
And you never know, you might see one or two of us trotting along one afternoon for this cup of tea in the show.
I promise we'll let you out. I promise we'll let you out.
Thank you.
The Citizens Advice Bureau is where you talk and we listen.
But here on CABTalk, we talk and you listen. CABTalk. Every Tuesday at 10 o'clock on Arrow FM.
And always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the light side of life. If life seems jolly rotten, there's something you've forgotten, and that's to laugh and smile and dance and sing. When you're feeling in the dumps, don't be silly chumps, just purse your lips and whistle, that's the thing. Hey, always look on the bright side of life. Come on. Always look on the bright side of life. For life is quite absurd, and death's the final word. You must always face the curtain with a bow. Forget about your scene, give the audience a grin. Enjoy it, it's your last chance anyhow. So always look on the bright side of death. Just before you draw your terminal breath. Life's a piece of shit when you look at it. Life's a laugh and death's a joke, it's true. You'll see it's all a show, keep 'em laughing as you go. Just remember that the last laugh is on you. And always look on the bright